Have you ever sat down at your laptop to get a lot of stuff done and then somehow found yourself an hour later scrolling Facebook and online shopping? Well, I know that I have, and that is exactly why I'm making this video today, to share with you the secret cure to procrastination. And I gotta be honest with you, it's not like the other videos out there that you've watched that tell you just force your willpower into it. The common piece of advice or videos that you'll watch about procrastination will often tell you to just think your way out of it or push your willpower forward and will yourself into doing the work. And trust me, I am all about mindset, but if there was a way, a scientific way to change the behavior of procrastination so that you could get more done, would that be interesting to you? Because that's what's interesting to me, and that's what I'm going to share today. I'm Casey, and I help health-conscious lifestyle entrepreneurs get in alignment so that you can hustle less and achieve more. If you are new here, consider subscribing. I'll put out a new episode each and every week. Have you ever used the phrase, if it weren't for the last minute, I wouldn't get anything done? Because that used to be my key tagline that I would rely on all the time, because I would put things off until the very last minute and then I would feel so pressured and stressed that I would get it done, but I would get it done kind of half done. See if you can relate to this, because I hear it all the time from ladies that I work with. You get the kids tucked into bed, you're ready to get some work done. But you've been running around all day and you've been juggling kids and food and home and work and all of these things, and then you just need a minute to decompress and relax for a little bit. Or let's say that's the only time that you have to spend with your partner, so you prioritize a little bit of relationship time first. And you stay up a little bit too late, maybe you throw on some Netflix, and then you wake up and you're thinking, first thing in the morning, I'm gonna get right to it and get all of that work done. So you wake up with this big to-do list, but your daily tasks have restarted again also. And you just sit there and stare at the screen, blank, thinking, where do I even begin? And then you start the cycle again of scrolling or shopping or watching videos on how to peel a pomegranate. What I'm really interested in sharing with you is how to get past those moments and start being productive even when you're not totally motivated. So if you just had anything that ran through your head that thought, yeah, that's totally me, I am a procrastinator, stop right there. You are not a procrastinator. Procrastination is a habit, and you may have a habit of procrastination, but you are not a procrastinator. And I know that is just semantics, or it sounds like it might be, but it makes a big, important distinction that I think will help you get past it. There are two important things to note about procrastination in order to understand it a little bit better so that then we can move past it. Number one, procrastination is a habit. It's a pattern of behaving. And number two, the pattern of behaving is avoiding stress. Often we think about procrastination, we think, I'm just a procrastinator, or I don't have a lot of willpower, I don't have the right tools in place to set up my day, or I have all of these other things that are preventing me from getting work done, when really it is a tool that we employ to reduce stress. When we isolate procrastination down to a habit, then it's easier to deal with because we can use brain science to change habits. Now, would you agree that most of us are walking around with quite a bit of stress, especially if you're an entrepreneur, especially if you are a mother and entrepreneur? And from the research, it shows that entrepreneurs, as well as PhD students, are often the biggest procrastinators. We have a lot going on in our heads. We're often very analytical, and there are just so many things that we are trying to get done at one time. And so procrastination is a form of stress relief. It gives us a little tiny instantaneous bit of stress relief. So maybe you're stressed by your kids and what they did that day, or you're stressed by health, or the fact that your house is a mess, or that you have such a big list of things to do in your business and you're not getting enough sales, or you need more income, you're not sure where to find the clients. There's a million things that we are walking around with as entrepreneurs in this big cloud of stress above our heads. And so when we go to sit down to say, create content or connect with new clients, often we'll sit down at our computer and think, like I have to go and put on this face of productivity in order to deal with these clients or create this content when I'm still thinking about this cloud of stress up above. So then the elements of a habit come into play. What are the elements of a habit? Well, it has three parts. Usually there is a trigger. In this scenario, the trigger is stress. Like I have all this stuff in my head that I'm thinking about and that I'm worried about. And then there is a pattern. And the pattern of behavior is to avoid doing the work that we need to do right in front of us. And then there is a reward. And the reward in this scenario is getting a little bit of stress relief. When you are online and you're watching cat videos or how to peel a pomegranate or you're online shopping, it gives you a little dopamine rush, and that is stress relieving. But it is not long-term stress relieving. It's only in the moment. So it sounds like a plausible solution would be, well, just reduce the stress in your life, which absolutely great. But are we ever going to get in a place where we don't have any stress? It is unlikely. I think it's not human to do so. And therefore, we have to find a way to break that pattern of procrastination. Now, if you've read the 5-second rule or have watched any of Mel Robbins' TED Talks or videos, you know she is the queen of this. And this is her concept that I learned about that has really changed the way I treat myself in those moments when I'm procrastinating. Now, we have established that procrastination stops us from getting important work done, and we would like to get that work done. Procrastination is a habit, and we are able to change habits. And the last piece that's important in this puzzle is to know that stress is the trigger for that habit. So you're sitting at your laptop, you have a list of things that you would like to get done, but your mind is running around with all of that stress, and you're realizing that you're about to click on another website that is not your productive work. What do you do? The method that Mel teaches in her 5-second rule is to, number one, acknowledge the stress. Realize that you're stressed about something over here and it's preventing you from doing this thing over here that you want to get done. So forgive yourself and understand, say, yes, I am stressed about my health or my finances or my money or my relationship or my children or all of these things, and it's totally okay. I'm not going to solve them in the moment, but I still do have work that I need to get done. And forgive yourself for being stressed. Often we're trying to be in a state where we're not stressed by all of these things, and we make ourselves feel bad for thinking about them and worrying about them. The first thing to do is just acknowledge that you are stressed, because that will help you realize that you are about to get into that pattern mode, and we want to break that pattern before it happens. The second part that she teaches is this 5-second rule where you count down backwards 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you get started with something. I think it's brilliant. You should definitely look into it. But for me, all I need to do is acknowledge it. And often for me, what helps is to write it down. I am stressed by finances because XYZ. I am stressed by my kids because of XYZ. And for me, that helps. It takes a couple seconds to write down a sentence, and it gets it out of my head and onto the physical paper. And that helps me acknowledge it better. And then I am able to go to the third step, which is just get started. When you just get started, you interrupt the pattern, and slowly over time, you can change that behavior. And the key to go from not wanting to do a thing to acknowledging it and then doing it is to commit to doing it for a small amount of time, maybe 5 minutes. Say, I'm going to work on this task for 5 minutes, and you can set a timer. And the beauty in doing it for a small amount of time is that it seems more manageable. Like you can convince yourself to do something for 5 minutes a lot easier than you can convince yourself to do something for 2 hours and complete a task. It's less daunting. You're just going to put some time into the project rather than having any expectations about getting it done perfectly. This will create a little win for you, and like small wins are what can really get you going and get that pace going where you can then stay motivated. And so her research shows, Mel Robbins, who's the queen of this, like I said, and I get a lot of this information from, she says that her research shows that 80% of the people who in that moment interrupt the pattern, they acknowledge that they're stressed, they interrupt the pattern, and they just get started, 80% of those people will keep going on a task because it's broke the pattern because it's giving you a little win. You said, I would do this for 5 minutes, and you just did. So then you're feeling better about yourself. You're feeling better about the work that you've done. And then it motivates you to want to keep going. So all that fluffy information out there about willpower and you just motivate yourself and you just keep going even when you're not feeling like it are all great things. But if you don't break up this habit and create a new habit in its place, you're going to keep hitting your head against that wall of procrastination. There's a lot of science out there that shows that we can create new patterns, we can create new behaviors, and it's easier than changing your mindset on things. Neuroscience is absolutely fascinating to me, and the way that we can use it in this way about changing our procrastination habits can be really, really helpful. I delved into neuroscience when I was recovering from a mild traumatic brain injury, so I am speaking from a place of experience, and I have gone through and changed significant behaviors in my life, and I have reaped incredible rewards because of it. So if you take anything away from this video, I hope it's that you stop referring to yourself as a procrastinator and start realizing that it is a habit and it's a tool that we use for stress relief, and that's totally okay. We're all stressed. Let's just find new habits that we can use to relieve stress. So the next time you find yourself sitting down at your laptop to get a lot of work done and you find yourself chasing down silly little rabbit holes of online shopping or scrolling, stop. Acknowledge that it is a stress relief response, interrupt the pattern, and just get started for a short amount of time. I think that you'll find that it gives you enough of a small win and it breaks up the pattern that you can then follow through with your tasks that are on your list. I have a question for you, but in every episode, I like to equip you with a powerful resource that'll help you go from hustle mode and being busy to actually having some alignment and relief and feeling accomplished at the end of every day. If you haven't already, hop over to my blog and grab my time hack toolkit. I put a big teal button right below this video on my blog, and you can download that time hack toolkit. Think of it like the Cliff Notes version of all of the best time productivity hacks boiled down to one easy to read guide. They're hacks that you can implement today as soon as you get past that procrastination habit, which I think you now have the tools to do. Question of the week: do you ever find yourself procrastinating? If so, what are your stress factors that get you into that state? Share them in the comments below. That'll help you start to recognize and acknowledge them so that then you can change the behavior. As always, I appreciate you watching, and I look forward to connecting with you again next week.